Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start with the story where the manager actually backed up the employee and didn't bend over backwards to encourage the customer throwing a hissy fit. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. No, I don't want you to fix my mistake. I want you to go back in time and make me never do it. Thankfully, I stopped working in retail a few years ago, but this is something I witnessed at the supermarket yesterday and wanted to share. The supermarkets where I live have heaps of self-serve checkouts. Most stores brought them in a few years ago, so they're not really new technology. Plus, the store I was at had heaps of manned checkouts as well. The way they work is that the big screen shows your item scanned, and when you pay, you select a payment method from those offered on the screen, e.g. cash, debit with cash out, debit without cash out. If you choose debit, the PIN pad machine activates, and no matter what you choose, it flashes up a cash out screen temporarily before it registers that you've already pre-selected that option on the big screen. So I was there with my boyfriend. I was scanning my groceries and he was bagging them, so I didn't have to pay too much attention. The woman next to me, IW for incompetent woman, was doing hers and muttering under her breath at the same time about the machine. There were plenty of manned checkouts free. She chose to come into the self-serve area. When she finished scanning, she selected the debit without cash out option on the screen and used her card in the machine and finished her payment. Then she started staring at the machine. She was looking at the cash out slot, banging on the side of the machine, etc. Of course, one of the employees rushed over right away to be greeted with a, "Why won't this machine give me my cash out?" IW: "I wanted cash out and this stupid machine didn't give it to me." E: "So sorry. Sometimes there's a malfunction with the cash dispensers. I'll go to the store menu to see if it's throwing up an error." IW: "Yes, you do that. I don't want to be ripped off." E: "Looking at the last transaction, it looks like you didn't request cash out. Is that correct?" IW: "Well, it didn't give me a chance. It just flashed up with the option on the keypad and then it went away. I assumed that meant it knew how much cash out I wanted. WTF. And was going to give it to me." E: "I see what the problem is. You see, you have to specify your cash out amount before you use the keypad." Brings up payment screen. "See, there's an option for cash out here. You have to do it before." IW: "Well, I don't care. That's a stupid system and I want my cash. Your store's trying to rip me off." E: "I'm terribly sorry, but our store doesn't design the way the machine works. We're not trying to rip you off. You haven't been charged for any cash out at all. If you'd like, I can put through another transaction to get your cash out at no charge. Stores don't usually do this as it costs them money for each transaction. Or there's an ATM for your bank right outside the store if you'd prefer. No fees for ATM withdrawal." IW: "I'm not going to let you have my card again. You'll just charge me and then not give me the cash again. I want my cash." E: "I'm terribly sorry that this is inconveniencing you, but you haven't been charged for any cash out." Shows her the receipt. "See, you were charged for your groceries, but no more was taken out of your account." IW: "I see what the receipt says. You're lying. I want you to fix what's already happened. Make it so the machine knows how much cash I wanted out and took it out, and I want that cash now. I know you can do that. Your store has my card details now." E: "I can't change the transaction that's already happened. That would be a huge security breach for me to be able to do that. Your card can only be charged if it's in the machine. I'm sorry that you didn't like our system, but all I can do is offer you a solution." IW: "No, I'm not giving you my card again. You will fix it now." Enter manager, who's been in the booth next door and overheard the whole exchange. M: "I'm sorry that you've had difficulty with our system. I understand that it can be complicated to use, but that's why we have staff to answer any questions you might have. Employee here has offered you several alternatives to fix the mistake that you made, and you're yelling and abusing her. I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store." IW, clearly panicked: No, it's okay. I'll let you do another transaction to get the cash out." M: "Sorry, but that option's no longer available to you. You can use the ATMs outside of the store, but if you want cash out at our registers, you'll have to buy something else." She then slinked off, very embarrassed, while the employee looked at her manager so gratefully. Crazy old bat. And our second story. Keep parking in a private lot and asking for help? We'll get you towed. So this is more of my boyfriend's story. Cast, H.O., Honda owner who kept coming back. Me, BF, my boyfriend. My boyfriend's fraternity has a parking lot that you have to buy your spot for. But because it had been so cold and icy throughout this winter, they didn't have any signs up to say people would be towed if they parked there. The previous ones were stolen by some drunk people. Because of this, they couldn't legally tow anyone parked in their lot and constantly had random cars stealing spots other people had purchased. There was this one guy, H.O., in particular, who would always park there because he lived in a close dorm to the lot, I assume. He had an older beater Honda with a rival college window cling that didn't help his case. His car had one flat tire and one donut tire. One day, because of his tire situation, he couldn't get through all the snow when he tried to leave the parking lot. As a result, my BF and 4 other guys from his frat were nice enough to switch H.O.'s 2 bad tires to the front, because his car was front-wheel drive. They were out there for about an hour in the cold helping H.O. get out of the lot. He didn't even help them change the tires. He just stood around like they owed him something. Once he got out of the lot, we figured that was that. H.O. wouldn't come back because he was informed not to park there again, and everyone was kind to him about his situation. Oh boy, were we wrong. Keep in mind, he'd been parking there for at least a solid month in my boyfriend's spot. One day, when there's still piles of snow all around, H.O. decides the frat's lot is the perfect place for his car again. Unfortunately for him, he got his car stuck in the snow. He still hadn't fixed the tires, and he saw BF walking past towards the frat house. H.O. Hey man, can I get some help out of the lot again? BF. Sorry man, I can't, I gotta go. But you shouldn't have come back and parked here. Then BF walked inside and left H.O. out there alone to deal with his car. A little later that night, I came over to hang out with BF. He tells me all about how infuriated he is that H.O. was back and trying to get some help again. We went over to a window to look, and sure enough, H.O. in his car hadn't moved an inch. It was halfway in a spot with the bumper of his car blocking another car in. That's when our plan started. Since they couldn't legally tow a car parked there, they couldn't do anything before, but now that H.O. was blocking in a car, they had every right to tow him at H.O.'s expense. BF gleefully called the tow company, who said they'd be out in a half an hour. BF and I sat by the window, watching H.O. struggle for a while, give up, and leave his car. A little later, the tow truck came and towed his car away. We watched the whole time. This may not have been the craziest story to ever happen, but I thought I'd share it anyway. Update. Yeah, he came back like 2 weeks later, but he isn't around now, last I saw. They finally put no parking signs up, so now if he comes back again, they'll just tow him. And our last story. I am apparently a fashionable gardener. My father and I have a large garden at the front and back of the property. Fruit trees and bushes like figs and blackberries, tons of flowering plants that are gorgeous all year round. There are roses galore and a fantastic frangipani tree. I'm obviously very proud of my garden. Yesterday I was watering the garden at the front of the house because it was such a hot day. I was about to leave for a party, so I'm wearing makeup, wearing heels, and a pretty dress. I do not look like I work as a gardener. I live in an area where money flows like Niagara Falls. To be honest, we probably are the poorest people in the neighborhood, having bought our place before the properties went for 600,000 Australian dollars to 4 million Australian dollar max. Crazy. I'm happily watering my beautiful cyclamens and my lilies of the valley. I'm a huge flower person. When a lady in a very fancy car stops dead in front of the property. I see her looking at me intensely. Her husband and kids as well. Hey you, she yells at me. Come here. She's waving at me towards her, even though she had her young kids in the back. I'm not about to approach her car. Stranger danger, folks. I shake my head at her and yell out, asking what she wanted. How much do you cost? I was absolutely dumbfounded. In my mind, the lady was propositioning me in front of her own children, which is both hilarious and horrifying. Ew, I'm not for sale, I venture out. Not you, you idiot. How much for your gardening services? My mind goes blank. I can't understand what she's asking me, and I'm pissed that she called me an idiot. I look down at my outfit and then at her. I'm wearing a dress, you idiot. Do I look like I work as a gardener? She seems super pissed at that and exits her car going straight for me. I'm taken aback at her aggressive stance and facial expression. Don't you dare talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like that, I yell back. The lady's still yelling. How can I know you don't work here? I'm wearing a dress and heels. You could be a fancy service. I don't want a grubby gardener. First of all, fancy gardener services have probably never existed in the entire history of the world. And secondly, working in a garden is bound to make you dirty. The yelling attracted the stares of some of my neighbors who've known me for years, and obviously I was not a gardener to them. The yelling also attracted the attention of my dad, who came out of the house with a look of evil on his face. My dad is very tall and is very muscled. He's almost 70, so can't see crap, making him squint all the time, as if he's sizing you up for a fight. Think Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino. This lady takes one look at my dad and visibly shrinks back. Dad comes up to her, his face very close to hers. Piss off, he says to her in a low voice. The lady looks back at her husband in the car, and he looks like he's about to crap his pants. No support from that end. She scuttles back to her car, slams the door, and peels away. I give her a glorious middle finger, and even my father, patron saint of manners, joins me. I seriously never thought a story like that would happen to me at home, but there we go. There's a first for everything. She sounds like she'd be a lovely employer. Pity the person that does agree to work for her. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.